Hey, welcome back to Dumber Every Day. We are episode 1212 here. 1212? 1212? No, we're not episode 1202. I'm silly. We are episode 12. Happy Friday. If you're Canadian, happy Thanksgiving weekend. Don't actually know what day Thanksgiving is. I think it's Monday because that's the holiday. So, yeah, I hope you're all having a ripper Friday. Let's talk about mine. So I just got home probably half hour ago from a dinner with a very lovely lady. And that sounds so fucking creepy. I want to shoot myself in the face for saying that. No, I had a dinner tonight and I think it went pretty well. She was very nice and everything I thought she would be. So we are, I guess, on the road to recovery and the road to all of you never having to fucking hear about April again. So here's to that. Cheers. Fuck. Sorry. Yeah, it went very well. I didn't really have any expectations, honestly, going into it because we'd only been chatting kind of infrequently on and off for a few days. So I was actually kind of surprised when she said yes when I asked her out. So, yeah, had some pasta, some chicken. It was very good. And I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to jinx it. I'm a little stitious, but I'm not superstitious, but I am a regular amount of stitious. And this might not be the full episode, honestly. I might just do part of it tonight and then finish it up tomorrow morning or something. I don't know. I don't know that I have enough in the tank here tonight for a whole episode. So, but yeah, it was kind of it was weird to tell you the truth because there's a part of me that can't help but like compare a first date to April and I's first date, which was just like the most banging first date I've ever had. So, and this actually was kind of in line with April and I's first date. So that was kind of a nice surprise. Like the date that wasn't there last weekend, I kind of just psyched myself out and told myself like, well, this will never be as good as, like April and I's first date, so why even bother? Why not wait and try and see where things stand with April before you are spending money, taking people out for dinner and this, that, and the other. So the date that never was, never became. So I swear, I need to work with a vocal coach to learn breath control because that is why I yawn so fucking much as I forget to breathe when I'm talking. But yeah, it went shockingly well, honestly. And like, I am so inexperienced with dating and first dates and the etiquette today and all that kind of tomfuckery. So I'm very pleasantly surprised most of the time when something works out and I seem like I did a good job. Hooray me. And I really didn't know what to expect, honestly, kind of going into it, just because we hadn't really gotten to know each other that well. It was kind of like a slip of the tongue that ended up with us going out for dinner tonight. So, yeah, the Rizzlord laughed at me for that. She had said she was feeling under the weather the other day, and I replied and said something along the lines of like, hopefully not too sick, because I'd love to take you out, and got me a date. So I must have some Riz in me, but nothing like his glizziness himself. So, and this is probably unfair to say, and hopefully she doesn't ask me about the podcast, but like, it was really nice to not have to kind of think about all the shit that's been going on lately and just have like a really good time with someone who's fun and I vibe with, and we were laughing and talking about a little bit of the trauma because I just do first dates all wrong. I'm like, let's talk about all the shit you're not supposed to talk about, like right out of the fucking gate. Tell me about your ex. And like all the shit you've done that you worry about telling me eventually. Like third date shit, let's talk about it tonight so we can know if we're going to waste our time here. So But it seems to work out. Like, I think she had a good time, honestly. She said she did, fuck knows. And I think I'm going to see her again in a few days. So, yeah, it was really nice to kind of just... And there's no, like, good way to say this without it saying, like, I'm using this girl to distract me from April, because that's not what I'm doing. It's just very much like a foot in each camp, right? Like we talked about the other day. It's very much like the three wolves. Like, what the fuck was I talking about? I must be... And also, making fun of myself last episode for saying you drink every day doesn't mean you have a fucking... Like, what the fuck? But when I said it, I was drunk, and I said, I sound like an alcoholic trying to defend himself at an intermission, when I clearly meant intervention. So, Taylor, if you hear this, maybe it's time for an intervention to stop me from having my 3 rum and cokes a night. Oh, excuse me. See? Disgusting. I'm not a professional. So, also, we have... potentially a new listener if she makes it this far, and I can't think of like a good nickname for her. We used to work together like fucking 10, 12 years ago, and recently kind of reconnected and are just been catching up. So, yeah, there's no like fun nickname that doesn't involve like where we used to work or this, that, or the other. So like, hey, if you're hearing this, you know who you are. We were talking about it today on Friday. I sent you the link on Snapchat. So, hi. Welcome to the podcast. If you made it to episode 12, I'm shocked, honestly, because it's a rough listen, the first couple, and then it only gets worse. So, hi. Shoot me a Snapchat if you make it this far and hear this whole thing. But yeah, like, I know it sounds like I'm using this fucking poor girl as a distraction to not think about April, but that's definitely not what I'm doing. Like, it's... 2 feet in, it's a foot in 2 worlds. And the horrible 2-3 wolves analogy. Because like I said, I do want to be dating. I want to meet somebody. I'm probably not ready to, just quite yet, but horse before the cart, and that's never kind of not worked out for me. Well, that's a fucking lie. But at the same time, I don't know where I stand with April. So I need that clarification and that closure from her. So... I'm actually kind of glad that my sinister plan to send a text message the last couple of days hasn't really worked out. It didn't send last night. Don't ask me why. I looked up how to do this, and I did everything right. So my phone is sabotaging me. But, yeah, it's... Oh, goodbye, train of thought. Wave goodbye, kids, as the train leaves the station while we're standing on the platform still. Fuck. Fuck, I don't know. I give up. And I was talking to the Rizzlord about it today. I was just saying, like, because he's convinced she's not stalking me, but, like, keeping a very close eye on my life through my Snapchat story that is very carefully crafted just for her, because I know she's doing this, I think I know she's doing this. There's no certainty, but I was telling the Rizzlord today, like, I was like, it's the same thing I said on the podcast. I was like, I know, blah, blah, blah. I know it's done, and it's over, and she broke up with me, and like, that's that about that. Said the cat in the hat, but it's not done enough. If that makes, like, I sound fucking psychotic. I know I do. I swear I'm a normal guy. I swear I'm a normal mentally ill guy, but. Like, there's still a little bit of hope. And I need there to be no hope. So, we're going to find out. And it's a good little test to see how much of what Jilly and I have been working on I've internalized. Because I want to know, but I also don't want to ruin my long weekend and be miserable all long weekend. So, here's hoping that I have learned some things from Jilly. And I'm able... Fuck's sake. To kind of, I don't want to say compartmentalize, because I do need to deal with this, but like, deal with it in a way that lets me still kind of enjoy some time and not just be a zombie moping around all weekend. So fingers crossed for that, and fingers crossed my fucking phone doesn't sabotage me again tonight and actually sends this fucking text, or it's going to make me do it like a man. So, dumb. And yeah, dating's just so wild, right? Like all the things you have to talk about, like, and a lot of this wasn't first date conversation, but she seems like the same kind of person as me. Like, let's just get it out of the fucking way. Because if I have to pay for 3 dinners and then I find out there's some deal breaker that we could have talked about tonight, like I'm not going to be mad, but I'm going to be annoyed. And then I got to get over you because at that point I'll really like you and blah, blah, blah if we're hitting that many dates. So yeah, we were kind of ran the gamut tonight. Like the conversation just kind of started fun and light and we're having a good time getting to know each other. Like she has a habit that I have that I was very worried. That's always like my number. I smoke cigarettes and so does she. So it's always like there's 2 big ones that I worry with a new person where I'm like, I have to tell you, like I smoke cigarettes and I go to church. And either one of those could be like a major deal breaker for someone. So sorry, I'm tired. Mommy's tired. That was cringe. So yeah, she rocked up to the restaurant and right away she was like, she had the look of fear in her eyes and she was like, do you mind if I smoke? And I was like, hallelujah, thank God. Because I smoke too and I was really worried about having to tell you. So this works out really well. And then, so we're off to a good start. And she's very pretty. She's beautiful eyes. Gorgeous, gorgeous brown eyes. Not to gush after one date, but I'm already planning our wedding. No, I'm kidding. I don't do that anymore. Yeah, and we kind of just like got to yarning. Talked about our exes. Hers were much more interesting than mine. I was like, yeah, my 9-year relationship ended because we drifted apart and just went our separate ways, basically, and it ended very civilly. It could have ended with a brisk handshake by the end. And then with April, I was like, we were together for 2 months, but it was really only 1 month because the second month was a fucking pile of shit. And then that was like 5 weeks ago. So, and the further removed I get from April, the month, not the person, I'm regretting this now, the better it is because there's so much sticker shock associated with like, how long were you and your ex together? 9 years. And like, that's kind of like a big number to some people. And then you do the math in your head and you're like, well, that was only 5 months ago. Like, are you sure you're ready to be dating? And then you have to explain like, well, you know, like this, that, and the other. Like we were both checked out and it wasn't really working and we both knew it. And technically like, fuck, it's exhausting and nobody ever believes you. So I'm looking at you, April. The girl, not the month. We're not going to give this new one a name yet. She will just be the girl I went out for dinner with tonight because there's only so many months and I wasted fucking May on that girl. So, and you know, she told me some things about her life right currently that I was like, this is very heavy personal stuff that I am shocked you're sharing. So maybe she's an overshare like me, fuck knows. But, like overall, it was good. It was the same kind of vibe as April and I. Like we finished dinner and then ended up sitting around and yarning for another hour and a half. So that was nice. And she had an appointment she had to get to, so kind of cut the evening short, which was too bad. I was really enjoying myself, but we shall see what the coming days bring. And yeah, Rizzlord is convinced that April is, his words are stalking, my words are keeping tabs on me. And he's right. Like, it really doesn't make sense. And we've been doing the experiment here for about a week now, I guess, eh? I started it at least a couple days ago when I really started noticing. I was like, she is consistently, like, top first 3 people half the time, most of the time, to, like, look at my stories. So let's investigate this and dig in and kind of see if there's any validity to this. And for the most part, there is. Especially when it comes, like, I know she was at work today. And some of them, there was one, it was under 2 minutes. She had seen it. So, fuck. I don't know. I really, really don't know what to make of that. Sorry, we're just posting that we're recording the podcast. Ugh. You know, y'all, every time I do this, have fucking dead air. I swear to myself, I'm like, you have to cut this out because it's just getting worse and worse, and it's gonna end up being like 5 minutes at one point. So, yeah, I'm trying to get better, but you know, I gotta like turn my phone off or something when I record the podcast because that's what distracts me is looking at it. So, doing a podcast, not a bad evening. Smiley face story. And, you know, it's making me having this thought that she is keeping tabs on me has kind of turned me into, it's funny. It's like her stalking me. Like she's stalking me, but I'm stalking her, stalking me. So I don't know. The Rizzlord knows more about this shit than I do. I'm an old man. So he asked me today, he's like, did she use Snapchat? And I was like, yeah, she always had a couple unopened ones. And like, we were never really on our phones when we were together, but yeah. And he's like, she's a Honda P, buddy. Like 100%. Because there's no, and he's not wrong. Like she always, and I hate talking about this because it just kind of said it, and I know it is that's exactly what it is. It's not, I'm trying to justify it to myself and make myself believe that I'm right, but like there's no logical reason for her to be doing it because she broke up with me and like spent 3 fucking weeks showing me very clearly that she didn't care about me. So I genuinely don't understand why she's doing this. And maybe it's just like stupid guy brain and I just am missing something here. But I guess we'll find out because tonight is the best night today would be the best day to send the text because I know her schedule and this evening and tomorrow are kind of like the best time for this shit where I'm not going to be distracting her while she's at work or sending her into work distracted. So I picked good. It's kind of good that the phone sabotaged me a little bit, but sabotage. I don't know. I'm very just fucked up about the whole thing. And I don't know what to think. And it does not help that the Frenchman's been away for a few days, and I've kind of been left to my own devices with this because he's my voice of reason half the time with this shit. So, Frenchman, come back, please. We miss you. Sad news to report. Today was not Young Buck's last day. He will be with us for another day or two until he goes away. So I audibly groaned when the Frenchman told me today. Not only because I'm like, I don't want to deal with this kid anymore, but also there's no fucking work for him. So I'm like, what do you want me to get him to do, man? Like we have some shit coming down the pipe when the stuff shows up, but until then, not a lot going on, buddy. I guess he can go help the laborers fucking parch the top of the fucking footings. I'm sure he just fucking love that running a jackhammer all day the way this kid fucking complains. So, okay. So the theory might be wrong. I don't know. I really don't care anymore. I've proven it to myself enough that she is keeping tabs on me, which is fucked up. So, and it's very different with this new girl because at the end of the night, we're having a durry and saying our goodbyes, and I was like, "Can I see you again?" She was like, "Of course, I would love to." And in my head, I was like, "Well, it's a long weekend. You told me a little bit about your family. Like, maybe we can work something out for like tomorrow. Like, I'd love to see her tomorrow or Sunday or Monday." And she said Tuesday, and in my head, I was like, "Fuck, I don't want to wait that long. Like, that sucks." But yeah, rock and roll. Whatever your schedule allows for, honestly, because my shit's wide open. I don't have much of a social life, thankfully. So, yeah, dating fucking sucks. And it's hard not to kind of compare every new date to son of a bitch. I said her real name. Fuck me. It's hard to compare all these, like the first date to like April and I's first date and first couple days, right? Like, blah, 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 fucking lost my train of thought doing that. Son of a bitch. But I don't know. We're playing it cool. This is what we're learning in therapy. This is why we're in therapy, is to learn to play cool and not be such a psycho fucking phone starer. It's like sitting in the dark with a blanket, staring at my phone till my fucking eyes bleed, waiting for a reply. Like, that's what we're trying to avoid here, as I fucking actively watch to see if April is fucking stalking me on Snapchat. So maybe we haven't fully learned our lesson here, but we're definitely trying. We are definitely fucking trying. So, yeah, it was a good night, and it was definitely something that I needed, because all this stuff with April has really just kind of done my fucking head in the last couple days, careening back and forth between I miss you, I hate you, I miss you, I'm mad at you, I love you, I can't believe that I could ever love you again, this, that, and the other. So this was a nice break. And the Rizzlord has said that the only way I'll really get over her is to just keep dating, and eventually I'll forget her. And I know he's wrong. He's fucking a child. He's a fucking child. So what does he know? But the only way, it just takes time, right? And a willingness to want to get over her. And right now I don't. Which is why I feel fucked up dating. But at the same, it's the foot in two worlds. I don't want to get over her, but I do want to be dating. So one of those must be true. I guess we're going to find out. And I really hope I'm the only one that gets hurt in the process. So we're going to take a little break. And this actually, it might be a break. It might be it for tonight. So I guess we'll see. But for y'all won't know until I say, hey, it's Saturday morning, or hey, we're back. So be good for our fucking this 1 second that it'll be for y'all. All right, welcome back to the shit show. It's been about 24 hours since that last segment. It's 7:30 on Saturday, and things have gotten so much worse somehow. I have no idea. So at this point, we are nearly sure this is gonna, because I'm not prepared. I fucking give up on dating, honestly. Like, what a fucking mess. So I had this date last night, right? We've all heard about it previously in the first part of the podcast here. And I, like you heard, thought it went great. Fantastico. Seemed like we had a good time. We're going to see each other again. Smash cut to right now, I haven't heard from her today. So guess we're on to the next one, because that's a real kick in the fucking dick. So, but shout out to Jilly for teaching me to cope with this shit. I'm not all that broken up about it, because what am I? I'm at $100 for dinner, so way cheaper than learning the hard way. So I guess it's a good thing we didn't waste a month on her. I'll call her the lawyer for now, but yeah, it's a bit of a bummer because we had a good time, but oh well, onwards and upwards. What else has transpired? Oh, I sent the text to April. And I had said there's only 3 ways she'll respond. She won't. It'll be positive, or it'll be negative. Turns out there was a 4th option. She'll respond incredibly shortly, but not rudely. So nothing has really come of it yet. We're playing the waiting game now. The ball's in her court. So I guess we'll see what we see. But the kind of cool thing is, like, yes, she responded, and it really didn't affect me like I thought it would. I thought I'd be a nervous wreck, kind of waiting for her replies all day. Jeez, recording voice notes all night with this other girl talking about church stuff. As soon as I sit down to do the podcast, yawns ahoy. Yeah, I thought I'd be like a nervous wreck all day, kind of sitting around waiting for her to reply, like checking my phone 100. Like, no, I kind of don't care. And she was rude as hell, and which makes no sense. I'm like, how the fuck are you gonna be rude to me when, like, you broke up with me and you're the one that treated me like shit for a month? So, like, where's the fucking attitude coming from here, lady? But then I got to thinking about it, and I'm wondering if she thinks I'm seeing someone right now and being a piece of shit and stepping out on this hypothetical person to talk to her because she sees the podcast descriptions and sees the little morning videos every morning. And April has been mentioned a lot. And she doesn't know that she is April. So, shock horror, she probably thinks I'm trying to cheat on somebody with her. Which, like, nice to know how low your fucking opinion of me has gotten. Thanks a lot. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll see what comes of this. I don't have high hopes. I just want a resolution. So, yeah, dating onwards and upwards. The suck continues. And at this point, I'm kind of like, I think I'm putting too much effort into this, like spending all this time on the apps and shit. Like, it's clearly getting me fucking nowhere. So, I don't know. I canceled all my premiums and shit, and maybe we'll just swipe casually, and then hopefully April doesn't keep me waiting too long, and we can just get this out of the way. But I don't know. Dating is just, fuck it. It's just more work than it's worth, and too much money, and all these girls just don't know how to have a fucking conversation, and communication's a lost art. So, whatever. We'll just stay the course, and whatever happens, happens. But, funnily enough, something positive, and also, as an aside here, we may also have an appearance from a very special guest tonight. We were all such fans of the dryer and his sidekick, the ice machine. I thought I'd introduce the dishwasher tonight. So if you hear that rumbling away in the background, so sorry. But who knows? Maybe one week I'll just sit down to do the podcast and turn the fucking vacuum on, and we can all enjoy that. But something interesting has happened. So way back when I first got on the dating apps, before April and any of that tomfoolery, I had matched with a girl, obviously. Although I don't know what Tinder's doing here. It sometimes just randomly throws a dude in there. It's like, are you paying attention? Because you're swiping no on everybody. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking paying attention. Don't try and trick me with Brad. How fucking dare you? What do we call this girl? It's very fitting. We'll call her Ruth. That's actually not her real name, but yeah, I matched with Ruth. And it's shitty to say, but it never really went anywhere because I had quite a few girls on the go at that time. Look at me, fucking Casanova. But I saved her number, and then I reached out a week or two ago and just kind of was like, hey, how you going? Like, what's new and exciting? I don't know if you remember me. And we've just been yarding all week, and it turns out, lo and behold, she is a Christian as well, and a much better one than me, I have to say. And we've been having a very interesting discussion today, kind of about seasons of kind of like faithlessness and falling away from it and that sort of thing. And because she's kind of on her upward swing back towards the faith, whereas I'm at like the lowest point of my downward swing and about as far from it as I can get. So she's been trying to encourage me all afternoon and evening to kind of get my poop in a group. And come back around to it, and I'm kind of being stubborn and just saying, like, look, I am kind of a big fan of the level of how low my life has sunk and the level of degeneracy and debauchery that I've kind of managed to introduce into my life. So I'm not really ready to give that up. And we won't spend too much time on this, but we've just been going back and forth kind of on like surrender and giving up control and kind of turning it all over to God. And I'm just like Ruth, I really have always struggled with giving up control. Even when I first started going, and like this was what Stephanie and I had talked about, which none of you know because that's in the last episode. But like I really, really have always struggled with turning the reins over and giving up some of these habits that I have that I kind of enjoy and don't really want to stop doing because they're so much fucking fun. Cussing being one of them. And again, we have the thought. You sent the podcast to the pastor of the church and your landlord. And your landlord is a buddy from church, and so is his wife. So what are they going to think when they hear? Although I did tell the landlord about this when we were signing the lease. I was like, hey, man, like I'm kind of in a season of fucking faithlessness here. I got to say, I'm kind of adrift in a sea of, I'm just lost. And I don't know how much that matters to you guys. And he looked at me like I was crazy. So I guess not that much, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting where you'll come across a Christian, because I never would have guessed. I'm just looking at her and the fact that I met her on Tinder, but it's very inspiring actually kind of talking to her how dedicated she's become to like coming back to the faith and really rededicating her life to it. And she's very, very encouraging to me, and I'm like, Ruth, like you barely know me, and you're spending a lot of time here trying to get me to sort myself out, which I guess is kind of what we do as Christians is, where are you? Is support each other, right? Like, and encourage each other when things are tough. And yeah, so it's kind of cool to see, because like I'm a virtual stranger to her. Like we've never met. We just kind of traded texts, and she's willing to put all this effort in. And I'm like, this is why like I am just kind of a terrible Christian, because I'm not the sympathetic. And I said earlier, I was like, like I struggle with all this stuff, and I know that if I just started like walking in obedience, a lot of this would kind of fall into line, but I just can't. I'm not willing to give up just yet some of this stuff. So and I'm having a thought here about April. Sorry. I know we were so close to escaping her, but I don't know. The fact that it kind of didn't do anything for me when she messaged me, like, I'm wondering, is it even worth it to try and get the closure? Like, and I'll ricochet on this again, I'm sure, but like right now, I'm like, why? What's the fucking point? Because she so clearly never cared. So, geez, what a rambling piece of shit the back half of this is. I'm all over the place. Yeah, and just because I'm a passive-aggressive piece of shit, I'm probably going to send a passive-aggressive message to the lawyer tonight. Because that's kind of rude to go out with someone, and I know that there are girls who do this, and it fucking disgusts me, but like to go out with someone and get them to pay for dinner and then fucking fuck off. Like, come on, man. Give me a fucking break here. But, I really got nothing in the tank for this one. I just wanted to get it done and kind of post it. I don't really have any thoughts tonight. I'm kind of just brain dead today. I had a big nap. Mommy was still tired, so I don't know. We will probably make a rash decision tonight, and then we'll have another April report, and that very well may be the end of it because, yeah, I don't know that I really want to put myself through this again now that I'm kind of starting to. Yeah. So lucky y'all. Yeah, lucky y'all that you don't have to hear about this shit anymore. Congratulations, you did it. You survived the barrage of April podcasts. Watch the quality of this just tank. We need the drama. I'll reach out to my other exes. How you going? Do you think we made the right choice? Let's just fully embrace that degeneracy, eh? So yeah, this was a big nothing and nowhere kind of episode. You're welcome. Thanks for listening. No, the usual call out too. If I didn't send you the show and you have listened to it, at the bottom of the episode page on Spotify, there's a little Q&A section. If you could get in there and just tell me how you found the podcast. Was it recommended to you? Was it in a something playlist on Spotify? Like, I'm just eternally curious how the internet and the algorithms work. So if you wouldn't mind, and then if I don't respond to you, it's because I forgot to check all those, because you have to do it episode by episode. But I would really appreciate it. Any listener who I didn't send this to, dig in there and tell me how you found it. So other than that, y'all have a great rest of your Saturday. Behave yourselves, make good choices. Don't do anything Uncle Rackham over here wouldn't do. And we'll catch you guys in the next one, which I don't know when it will be because we clearly have no content. So be good, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Hooroo.